if you just looked at his on-the-field resume, 2020, the one-year sample size, he's been unbelievable. Crabbs and Joe Marino of the Draft Network. And Joe, we're here to talk about the Miami Hurricanes, specifically a newcomer to the program this year, defensive end Jaelan Phillips, who's a former top recruit coming out of high school level, started his college playing career at UCLA, and now finds himself just completely juggernauting and destroying ACC competition each and every week, making himself quite at home in opposing teams' backfields as a defensive end. So my question for you is this: is there a hotter edge rush prospect in the country right now than Jaelan Phillips?
No, just ask the Virginia Tech right tackle. That dude's going to have nightmares about Jaelan Phillips for a very, very long time. Last weekend, I mean, Phillips just beat him like a drum. 4.5 tackles for loss, 2.5 sacks in that win over the Hokies. And this guy's really turned it on. I think he played well early in the season, but the production is starting to match, right, the really good performance. The last 5 games, 8 tackles for loss and 5 sacks. We know this guy was a big-time recruit heading over to UCLA, really couldn't find his way there, transfers over to Miami, and they go into this year. Remember, it was this trio of edge rushers, Gregory Rousseau, Jaelan Phillips.
He was the hallmark guy, Rousseau.
Well, yeah, and Quincy Roche coming over from Temple after being the AAC Defensive Player of the Year. And so who's the one we're talking about now? It's Phillips. It's Phillips. He's the guy that's relishing this opportunity. Rousseau opts out of the season, and he's still really talented, but like he's out of sight, out of mind. Roche hasn't really taken that next step and translated the production that he had at Temple to the ACC. But Jaelan Phillips, my dude, is balling out. This guy can't be blocked, winning inside and outside. And that's what's impressive. It's not just that, like, he's racking up splash plays. He's beating blocks, man, and he's showing some high-level traits.
Well, and I think that's the difference between the two. And never mind the fact that one of them came from UCLA and the other one came from Temple. You look at their builds and their types as athletes, too. And I remember I went to go see Josh Rosen and UCLA play in Memphis, Rosen's junior year, ahead of the 2018 NFL draft, so the 2017 college football season. And I see Jaelan Phillips walking around on the field, and I couldn't get to the depth chart quick enough to be like, who the hell is that kid? Because he looks like a stud. He's an 18-year-old freshman, and he got hurt halfway through the game. But for the half that he was on the field, he was the best player on the field for either team. And then you take that 6'4", 6'5", 265 pounds, all the athletic potential in the world, and he goes to a landing spot in Miami where it seems like things just kind of click into place for him, and all that natural talent was so evident that he has playing on a bigger stage versus what Quincy Roche was playing with at the AAC. And Phillips is just, the sky's the limit as far as what his potential is. Now, there's some questions as far as his terms of leaving UCLA, and he was medically retired at one point and then came back and started playing football again. So when we go through the draft process, there's going to be some vetting that the teams are going to have to do. But like,
I don't want to disrespect Quincy Roche, who's having a good season, right? He's just not blowing it out of the water. And when you really think about how Phillips, his trajectory since the beginning of the season, that's where the sizzle is captured within Phillips. And man, like, it's hard to slot him based on some of the stuff we don't know, like say, oh, this is a first-round prospect or this is a top 50 guy.
He's got first-round talent, though.
Yeah, so that's where it is. Like, from a talent perspective, there's not a whole lot of questions. And, look, teams are going to be willing to take risks on guys that play these premium positions, and Phillips has a lot going for him, man.
So, I mean, we've had a chance. We've actually got our hands early on some Miami defensive all-22, and you and I are texting back and forth a couple weekends ago, and I'm like, dude, look at this inside move. Look at this flexibility for a man that's 265 pounds. So if the vetting process comes back clean on Jaelan Phillips as far as some of the things off the field versus this wonderful resume that he's piecing together, we've talked about how deep of an edge class this is, Joe, but I mean, could make a push to be a top 5 edge when it's all said and done, just based on the athletic profile that he presents, the positional value, his ability to impact opposing quarterbacks, and play all 3 downs. This is not just a pass rush specialist either. He beats tackles up at the point of attack in the run game too.
Yeah, that was kind of what I was thinking about. Like, we got to talk about the run defense here.
Yeah.
I know that that's kind of an afterthought, but he holds his own, and he plays it very natural, and he knows how to keep outside leverage, and his hands, he keeps them involved. He's busy, and I think he's a very complete player. So you're looking for a defensive end, man. You got to get this guy on your radar.
Check out South Beach. Jaelan Phillips, defensive end, Miami Hurricanes. He's one of the risers of the 2020 season.